Creeper World IXE. Despite being enjoyable with unique gameplay, this entire franchise feels rather unpolished and short. Finished the campaign in one weekend, so it felt easier than the previous Creeper World games. Feels like it's a lot of people are complaining about the gameplay mechanics and lodging AI complaints. I honestly couldn't care less about that in the splash of the presentation of the game that earns the real zonk. Certain gameplay mechanics are left to you to figure it out, not so much because they're a narrative mystery, but because they're not documented in the reference materials. This can get confusing due to the lack of information available about intermediate materials and how they interact. It's basically as though the dev couldn't even be bothered to finish writing the manual, which would probably not even take long to do. It's interesting considering that they went to the great length to come up with a help of section that addresses specific details about certain topics, but left out there. You're introduced to the new elements during the campaign or with sellout notes, but that's it. That's the limit of the guidance. So if you don't take notes or remember about the stuff, there's nowhere to pull the info up later as a reminder, or to get the further insight. It's not even a wiki online, you just get to figure it out yourself. Not sure why this all info is missing for the game that's in the final release, because the dev could probably incorporate it. The point is that they couldn't be bothered, and that's the point. This game was in development a long time, yet feels raw around the edges as though it's still early in development. The interface design and documentation has always been eccentric, and this one's no exception, but this one feels even more hodgepodge. The unit selection toolbar has space for 16 unit types, even though there aren't that many in the game, along with an extra section that can be expanded or collapsed to organize them. Perhaps that was intended for other purposes, because as it stands, the game never even introduces enough units to fill out the first toolbar, so it's not evident why a second one is necessary. There's also numerous other menus and buttons and retitles, and they might make sense if you're the developer of your part or their underground developer cable, but if you're not, I guess you can also figure those out for yourself. Also don't understand the need of the gimmick of navigating into orbit around the planets when you enter the star system, as there's only one planet in each system. Each mission is a pointless routine of clicking the next star on the linear path, then clicking on the next planet in each system, then hovering a cursor over the planet, then clicking play. Each star looks exactly the same and also has a completely useless star break sharing an orbit with the one planet in the system, and all the star systems are identical in appearance. In spite of these differences, the game still captures the general cycle of gameplay that makes the series shine. Levels start with you at a disadvantage, sweating a bit under the pressure, and you work hard to reach a tipping point to deal with devastating enough blow to the creeper that things easy off and you can waltz to the victory. For any veteran of the series wanting more, I'd say this game is a great choice. If you're newer to the series and want to see what it's about, I'd say to go and pick up Creeper World 3 or 4 instead, which serve as better entry points to the series I'm on. While I overall like this game, there are some issues. The biggest problem I've seen is the food management mixing mechanic. In the game you can collect various different materials around the map and blend them into the new materials, which can also do various things like destroy creeper, break down otherwise indestructible balls, and terrain, etc. The game is quite proud of these mechanics and they're a major fixture in many campaign levels. This would all be well and good, but fluid mixing is aggravating. For the most of the campaign you have two duster units that can rob the materials you need to mix, and you actually have to make them on the in-game map. Ordering your dusters to make two different materials generally involves 8 to 10 tech clicks per recipe, and due to the game's physics it's almost inevitable that materials won't mix quite right. And of course, it's hard to tell how much you need to make, and if you don't make enough for the first time, you'll have to go back and make more. At first, you think there is some purpose for those star bases being present in each system, but there isn't one. They serve no function despite being omnipresent. What was the point of this? If there's only one level in each star system, then just pick a level on the star map and start it. and get rid of it with stupid star bases and the planet selections. It's things like this and that make you raise an eyebrow, wondering what other seemingly abandoned ideas ended up staying in this game despite being completely superfluous. I was torn of giving this a thumbs up because the fluid simulation gameplay puzzles were the reason to play, so if you like that then maybe it's worth it, but everything else about this presentation feels like an half-baked and poorly explained mess. Honestly, I'm pretty neutral on it, but there's no neutral reviewing option. The devs should be embarrassed to release it into the public and its condition after this long in development.